Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to look at Star Realms. This is a deck building game for 2 players for ages 12 and up, and the average play time is about 20 minutes. Now you can add more players to the game if you buy more copies of the base game. So with that being said, what is Star Realms? Well, like I said, it's a deck building game in space, as the name suggests, and your goal is going to be building your own deck of cards like in any standard deck builder, and trying to eliminate the other players by reducing their authority value to 0. So without further ado, let's take a look at what came in the box and how the game is played. Okay, now here's a quick look at the components. You've got these Viper and Scout cards up here. Players will receive these at the beginning of the game so that they can start their deck off, but they'll be purchasing more cards from this deck as the game goes on. You've also got this Explorer deck over here. This is sort of like an always available deck that players can purchase from, whereas throughout the game, players only have a limited number of cards that they could buy, depending on what comes up. But I'll show you that in a little bit. Finally, you've got these Authority cards. They are valued differently. As you can see, 1 on the other side is 5. Further in, we've got these Authority cards valued at 10. On the flip side is 20. So these are sort of like a player's health of sorts. Again, whenever a player's authority reaches 0, they lose the game. Okay, now here's a quick look at game setup. Each player will receive 8 of those Scout cards and 2 of those Viper cards I was talking about in the beginning. They'll also receive a total of 50 authority. And then you can put whatever leftover authority you have off to the side to make change as you need to as players start losing authority or health, whatever way you want to look at it. As far as this deck of cards up here, it is completely shuffled, and then you'll go ahead and deal 5 to form the trade row. And then you'll just put the Explorer deck up here so players can purchase from this in addition to these cards here throughout the game. Okay, now at this point, players will decide who goes first. And just for the record, I moved the second player up here just to give player 1 some more room. But players will decide who goes first, and first player will go ahead and draw himself 3 cards for the first turn only, because throughout the game, players will always have a hand size of 5. But to give player 1 sort of a disadvantage for going first, he only gets 3 cards, whereas player 2 over here for going second gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. Now, a player's turn has 3 phases: the main phase, the discard phase, and the draw phase. And for those of you that have played deck builders before, you'll be familiar with this. On the main phase, players will take a look at their hand, and they can play as many actions as they want to, so as long as they have the cards to do it. Some cards can be used as currency to purchase cards from the trade row here, or from the Explorer deck over here, and some can actually be used for combat. This particular player doesn't have any of that right now. But if they wanted to, they can use this combination of cards, 1, 2, 3, to buy something that is worth 3 on the trade row, or the Explorer card, which is worth 2. So just to quickly simulate that, let's just say that this player decides to use these 3 quote-unquote currency cards here, 1, 2, 3, that's valued at 3, to purchase this ship here, the survey ship, valued at 3. And you can see the cost in the upper right-hand corner of these cards. And at the end of the main phase, you'll go to the discard phase. And basically what will happen there, any cards that you've played, any cards that you haven't played, or any cards that you've purchased will go into your own personal discard pile. Of course, you'll want to replace anything that you may have purchased on the trade row. Last but not least, we have the draw phase, and all that really means is drawing yourself 5 more cards. If you happen to run out of cards in your draw pile, you'll take your discard pile, shuffle up these cards, and continue dealing yourself some cards until you reach 5. So eventually, the cards that you buy in previous rounds will start showing up in future rounds. Okay, now that you know how a typical turn plays out, I figured I'd show you a sampling of some of the cards. Not a whole lot, mind you, but just enough to get you started. For example, this Explorer card here that you can buy for 2 currency, that'll give you 2 currency on your turn should you play it, or you can scrap it by moving it to the trash pile and never getting it back, but you can inflict 2 points of damage against an enemy's authority. You've got this cutter ship here, and just to show you real quick, there are 4 different factions in the game. There's this green, there's yellow, red, and blue, and you'll see why that's important in a minute. But here you've got this blue faction's cutter ship. It's a Trade Federation ship, costs 2, and on your turn, whenever you play it, you can get 4 authority, and 2 currency. Whenever you happen to use another card that matches this particular faction, so if you play 2 blue cards, you can use this particular card's special ability, which says down here you can inflict 4 points of damage against the enemy. So it would behoove you to get a lot of cards of the same faction so you can chain some of their special effects. This missile mech, it costs 6 points. It can do 6 points of damage against an enemy authority, and you can also use it to destroy an enemy target base, which I'll get to in a minute. If you use it in conjunction with another card of the same faction, you can also draw a card. So as you can see, different cards have different abilities. Same with this yellow Corvette here. There's also these bases that you'll find throughout the trade row and the trade deck. And basically, these stay on the table whenever you play them, and you can use their abilities every turn instead of when they just come up. So these are sort of like permanent cards that you can play. And some even have a shield down here in the bottom right-hand corner. This is their shield or hit point value. Players will have to get through this before they can actually affect your own authority. So it's sort of like a shield of some sort when you think about it. So yeah, there are bases, there are different cards to buy, so there's a lot of different ways you can play this game and really mess up your opponent. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Players will continue taking turns until someone's authority reaches 0. It's important to stress here that I didn't cover all of the rules found in the manual, but this should just give you a nice general overview as far as how the game is played. As far as my first impressions, very positive. It's only 15 bucks, so it won't break the bank. Light, easy, portable. Great introductory game to the genre. So if you want to teach someone else how to play a deck builder, this is where you'd want to start. It's sort of like Dominion in the sense that it's easy to play, but as far as the pool of cards go, it's a little bit different. In Dominion, you've got all of these decks of cards that are available for purchase right from the get-go. Whereas in Star Realms, you've only got 5 cards in the trade row, and they're always changing. It's more similar to Star Trek: The Next Generation deck building game and Star Trek: The Original Series deck building game. So if you want to see my full review, you can, www.dadsgamingaddiction.com. If you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you can keep up to date on any new content I happen to publish. This is Vince, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.